test.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Did you already make sure it works?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I set it up last night and then I put my computer to sleep.
Oh, smart. That's some smart shit.
And it still
Okay.
works, yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you've been recording this the whole time?
No.
Oh, like no, but like just now when I was like
Yeah.
test. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started like 30 seconds ago.
Oh.
Weirdo.
I see. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I should put these notes away for this
Maybe.
other thing
Okay.
because we're not talking about the other noted movie. We're talking about what? Wait, what is this, Jared?
We're how about...
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Kevin.
Sweet. Yeah, today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home, the latest in the Marvel TV cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And I want to say off the top of the bat, what? That's not a phrase.
It's right off the bat. Yep. Okay,
Right off the bat,
professional podcast here.
yeah, we are. Spoilers abound, I assume.
Yeah, I don't. Yes,
Definitely spoilers for Endgame.
Yeah.
I want to get into some of that stuff
let's
that
just
it
say
addresses.
spoilers all around. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not gonna be up here trying to figure out what is or isn't a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the film and want to, go do that. But if you have,
listen to this,
we'll talk about it now.
or or maybe you just don't care that much, and then you'll
Yeah,
listen to this
that's
and then go
true
see
too.
the movie and be like, "Hey, those guys were idiots."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe they knew what they were talking about. Who
Mhm.
knows? Anyways, onwards and upwards.
Yep. What's the description for
The
this
description
bad boy, Kevin?
from IDMB is following the events of Avengers Endgame 2019. Spider-Man must step up to take on new threats in a world that has changed forever. Okay, so this we rag. I feel like we've ragged on the IDMB description a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're generally terrible.
Mhm.
Like they're written almost by like an intern who hasn't seen the movie.
Well, some of them are written by actual random people. Like they're
Oh.
sometimes attributed. Like if you click on that description, they're sometimes alternates. So I found a hilarious one for our next movie.
Okay.
That, when we get to that, I'll
We'll
read out.
get to it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one, and that one was probably written by Marvel
Yeah.
to be non-spoilery.
This one was probably written by like some intern at Marvel.
Yeah.
And like the description was, they were like, okay,
Yeah.
the instructions were just don't spoil Endgame.
Also, one sentence would be preferable.
Yes. So this says nothing. So basically, yeah.
Again, spoilers for Endgame, but
Spoilers?
Tony Stark is dead,
Yes.
and Peter Parker has sort of taken up that mantle, or he feels the responsibility to take up that mantle of the Iron Man.
Yeah. But before we get into it, Jared, what are your initial feelings on the film?
My initial feelings were, so when you suggested it to me, I was like, yeah, I do actually kind of want to see this movie because I've heard good things, and I've always liked the Marvels, but I don't go to see everyone in theater. And then I went to see this in theater, and it was one of those rare things where I thought to myself during the movie, I'm glad that I saw this in the theaters. So there was a specific moment? Do you remember that specific moment, or was it just like a general feeling you had? Just
afterwards?
a general feeling as the movie was going on. Like it starts pretty quick paced, and I liked that. But I guess maybe sort of the final, or the not the final showdown, but the like VR. That showdown in Germany, I guess.
Yep.
That one was the one that I thought, this is pretty cool and new special effects stuff.
Yeah, that was the most interesting of their combats.
Yeah.
Of the action set pieces, I think. It was sort of like almost Doctor Strangean in how like kind of cerebral or like weird it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very comic booky.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
very artistic and cerebral is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Kevin?
It's okay. I'm actually lower on this one than I am Homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm not I haven't like fully thought about it, like where I would rank it, like in the, there's so many of these Marvel movies now that it's hard to keep track internally
Yeah.
without like writing it down.
Yeah. I like to do tiers. Tier 1 is like
That's
Infinity War. Tier 2 is like
sure.
Captain America First Avenger.
Okay. Okay.
Tier 3 is like Thor: The Dark World and stuff we don't ever want to talk about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is like, yeah, this is definitely not tier 1 for me.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, it's a very fun movie, and like while I was watching it, like I was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so much fun because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's quite funny too.
Yeah, it's fun and it's funny. There's just like certain aspects of the movie that maybe I'm misinterpreting, but maybe just didn't work for me in general.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that Tony Stark is R.I.P. in pieces.
Yeah.
He gets killed by himself.
Yep.
He nobly sacrifices himself at the end of Endgame
by snapping his fingers and saying his catchphrase.
Yep, he does do that. And then, so yes, Peter is like, "Oh, now I am Iron Man," sort of. But he's like, the world needs a protector. That sort of general feeling.
Yeah. But like all that's happened, and now he's just kind of run down Spider-Man.
Yeah,
who just wants to go kiss a girl finally.
Yeah, he's
go on a vacation.
So that is the most compelling part of the movie, I think. Is
I agree.
Peter, and I think like I haven't read a ton of Spider-Man comics, but I feel
it's
like
what Spider-Man does best, though.
Yeah, is his like that dichotomy.
Yeah.
He feels this obligation, great power, great responsibility, bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's also like, oh, I want to be a person. I want to do my own thing. I'm a high schooler or wherever age
or
he
a
is.
college student or like a husband or
a
whatever.
Broken 45-year-old man or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different stages of Spider-Man's life that the comics are.
But the key is that he's a regular Joe type guy, which is why it was like so important that Marvel kind of did away with the secret identities thing after Iron Man 1. Like Iron Man 1 just threw that out the window. Like that, I was thinking about my first experience watching Iron Man, and I thought at the time that was weird, coming from like a very DC mindset of like Batman has to be Batman and can't be Bruce Wayne, otherwise it's all ruined.
Right.
But Marvel threw that out the window, and then it kind of matters, and then the end of this film is like, yep, okay. Well, this is a whole new world, guys.
Yeah, the mid-credit scene at the end of this film
which was so good.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson shows up and is played by
he's played by what's his face? Oh God, what is his name? Hang on.
He's the guy who played it in the Raimi movies, guys. Come on,
whoever that
Everyone
is.
knows who that is. It's not going to show up on the IMDb page because
God damn it, it might.
It would. I'd have to just look for it, but
oh my God. How is this stumping us? He's an Oscar winner. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. There we
Huzzah!
go. Yeah. Okay.
Only took us like a minute and a half.
God damn it. Okay. Anyways, he
shows up as a Alex what's his face type. You know that guy? Yeah.
A real person?
Yeah. There's that real like racist right wing sort of talk radio guy, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they were parodying. That it was
okay.
The internet website, the Daily Bugle, and he has like that big microphone that
guy
has.
Okay. I don't watch Alex Jones videos.
Okay.
So that
I mean, I don't either. I've just seen like pictures.
So Jared, what we learned is Jared religiously watches Alex Jones videos.
Yep. I'm a part of QAnon.
Yeah.
I'm not. Please, I'm not. I don't even want to joke about this.
Oh God, you don't forever unclean. Anyways.
No.
Yeah, so he shows up and basically is like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker!
Yeah, but he gets video from Mysterio. Yeah. That was Mysterio's kind of like last...
Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Mysterio.
Jake Gyllenhaal, yep.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Mr. Melancholy.
Yes, Mr. Melancholy.
Yeah. And he was a great villain. Like, all the... Like, what do you... As a... This is kind of a direct sequel to Endgame. What do you think... Oh, boy. Excuse me. Sorry. What do you think of it as a sequel to Endgame, though? Like, this villain ties perfectly in, I think, to Endgame, that he's a disgruntled Stark employee.
Sure.
Sort of like, felt like he should have gotten the jewels to the kingdom, feels slighted by Tony Stark, which is a pattern of Tony Stark.
Right.
And now he's bringing it down on the Spider-Man.
Yeah. See,
I really liked all that.
That's actually what I disliked.
In
that it felt weird to me that Spider-Man's movie was so influenced by Tony Stark. You know, the main plot device of the film is Tony Stark tech. The villain and all of his henchmen are all slighted Tony Stark people.
Yeah.
He saves the day in a Tony Stark-esque like montage of building a new suit.
Yeah,
and
I enjoyed that. Like when Happy smiles at that, seeing him do that stuff.
See, that's the thing. Like it's very fun. While I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, this is a lot of fun," because it is fun. They know how to craft that scene and invoke like, you know, emotions, and like you're thinking about, oh, Tony Stark, and you get like all teary-eyed or whatever, and you're like, oh, he's like, and you see Tom Holland, you're like, my little boy is grown up, and all that shit. But then, you know, it's like, it's not Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things. I mean, and he does at the end to like, ultimately he fights him as Spider-Man and not like, and so it's fine. But that like, how so much of the plot was tied to Tony Stark, like, kind of didn't work for me, I think. I'm not entirely sure, like, it's definitely a specific choice because it's all tied to Tony Stark. Yeah. Right? So much of it is.
And they're kind of using Tony Stark as the Uncle Ben.
Yeah, they are.
This Spider-Man's origin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, yeah.
See, like,
I get what you mean that, like, upon further review, it doesn't make a lot of much sense.
I think it makes... It's not that it doesn't make sense, is that it feels weird for all of everything about the plot and the story. Everything outside of Peter Parker doing Peter Parker things is tied to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
Yeah.
But again...
That's my biggest problem with the film.
Yeah.
And you can't take out any of that without changing the entire plot.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I enjoyed the movie, and so I'm not like, oh, they should have redone it without all this Tony Stark influence.
But yeah, you kind of were wishing for something else, maybe?
Something, yeah, where like Peter, like Spider-Man doing something, you know, doing Spider-Man.
Yeah, like something based in New York, maybe.
Right. Like maybe not based in New York, but like, because it's like fun seeing all those, you know, European sites.
Yeah, he's far from home.
He's far from home. But like, you know, it's just, it's just felt weird that like everything about how the story played out was like dipped in Tony Stark ink.
Yeah, but I feel like that's why. Well, I guess the big difference for me is I expected nothing going into this. Like, I didn't even.
Okay.
I wasn't even planning on seeing it in the theaters. I didn't see the other Spider-Man in theaters because at that point I'd already watched 5 Spider-Men with 2 different Spider-Mens as actors, and I was like, oh boy, this isn't gonna be good. And then it actually was good. And then this one, I was like,
Homecoming, I think, was a better movie than this one.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
But they're both very, like, this is not a bad movie. I get
right. Yeah.
Ragging on, like, see, the problem with my critique of it is that, like, it sounds like I hated all of it.
Yeah.
Because how I'm kind of unhappy with Tony Stark being so prevalent.
Yeah.
But that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
Is like the world and Peter Parker dealing with the absence of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And so, and like, you know, Tony Stark disappeared and there's a void, right? Someone needs to fill the void. And like, you know, his presence just creates, or his lack of presence just creates like all these like cascading effects all over the place.
Yeah. Which again is what I liked. Like I knew that was the movie coming in, and I enjoyed that it did like actually dealt with, because so often Marvel just moves on if somebody dies, like it's the next movie and it's, you know, 3 years later or whatever. And I like that again, that Tony was such an integral part into Spider-Man becoming the actual Spider-Man, the hero. And there's that like whole when he talks to Nick Fury, not Nick Fury. Right. And he tells him about like he was made an Avenger by Tony Stark. Is that Nick Fury or is that Mysterio? I don't remember.
That's the Krull or the Skull or the
Nick Fury Skrull.
Nick Fury Skrull.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he talks about him becoming an Avenger. That Tony chose him to become an Avenger, and I really like that because it it doubles down on that great moment in Infinity War, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, yeah, again, just felt not realistic, but I guess lived in the experience of being Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And that, like, so much of his stress is kind of boiling under the surface that he's still competent. I feel like maybe another hero would have become incompetent, but being Spider-Man and having his power set and who he is, he's still, like, kind of saves the day most of the time. But he also, I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, he just wants to be a kid again.
Yeah.
And that was the important part. And that was the stuff that I enjoyed the most.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like the whole class trip, the whole, sort of comedy of errors of all of that.
Yeah.
Like the teacher this time around was so great.
He was great in the first one.
Yeah.
What's his name?
This time he was even better. Yeah, Martin Starr.
Yeah, Martin Starr.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Every time he shows up anywhere, and I'm like, hey, it's
that guy with
that guy.
The big Coke bottle glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he shows up in the Veronica Mars movie, and he doesn't wear glasses in that, and that seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, little sidetrack. Veronica Mars is coming back, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. And it should be fun.
Neato.
Let's see. Yeah. So I liked all that. I liked Flash and his whole sort of thing, like his little like kind of mini arc that I don't remember who was talking about it. It might have been the Russo brothers or maybe the writers of the Avengers, and they talked about that everybody needs to have an arc, even if it's a little tiny arc, like somebody finally does this one thing.
Sure.
And I felt like this movie was a good example of that. That it was, by the way, so it was directed by the same guy who directed Homecoming. It was written by a guy from two guys. One of the guys, Chris McKenna, is from Community.
Yeah.
And it felt like very tight story wise. That I feel like a part of Homecoming was it was really only Peter's storyline, which is fine. I mean, it's a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
But none of the other characters really had that much of an arc. Like Ned kind of had an arc, but Aunt May didn't really have anything, and Tony just kind of shows up. Like there's not like they weren't full story arcs. Like in this, I feel like Happy gets something, May gets a little bit of something. Flash gets something that gets a fun tag at the end. Are you gonna be distracted by this light the whole time?
No.
He's like a cat with this.
No.
Yeah. And even Ned gets a little arc. Like that was the most fun and unexpected thing, is that Ned falls in love on this trip.
Right.
And then he just like falls
out of love.
Yeah.
Because they were never really in love.
Right. Yeah. But that felt like a very real sort of like school trip, summer camp, summer fling type deal.
Yeah.
And also silly and funny.
Yeah.
Like all of these kids are really good actors, and they're also like not.
They're not children
kids.
anymore. They're all like 20.
Yeah.
25.
I don't even know how old Tony Revolori is, but I'm pretty sure he's older than everybody else.
Yeah, I think he is.
Because he's been around for a while. And he's also like played a kid for quite a while. Or like sort of teenager. I think it's just because he's short. And he
was born in 96, so he's 22?
Okay.
3 question mark? 23-ish? Yeah, 23.
Okay.
Probably.
So not that old. I thought he was like our age, 25, 26.
Not quite.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
It was
yeah, it is fun to see like the background characters in this movie like have lots of fun things going on that are like completely disconnected from like Peter's story or like the Spider-Man plot in general.
And it does that funny thing of that because he's a concealed superhero character,
right?
That there's a lot of comedy to be had in that sort of who's Spider-Man, or like the scene that was in the trailer of Flash, saying I love Spider-Man, and like what's up, dipshit?
Yeah. That joke, like I don't know, I didn't love that one. Okay. Just felt a little forced.
I guess
it's a little too on the nose,
Yeah,
it's like
I liked that it was on the nose.
Yeah, I mean that's where the comedy comes from.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's up, dipwad?" or something like that. It's fun.
It was great.
A little on the nose. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the whole subplot with that kid that aged a whole bunch.
Yeah, the Asian kid.
Yeah.
He is like
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Brad Davis.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because it was a funny joke in the morning announcements, which I also enjoyed that those were back.
That's like the funniest part about that movie.
Yeah.
Is that like they're like, oh yeah, how are we gonna deal with the fact that like this is like the aftermath of half of the universe dying and then coming back?
Yep.
Oh, we'll just play it for laughs.
Yeah.
Like
also they rename it the Blip.
Yeah, they rename it the Blip.
Pretty silly.
Because that's basically what it was. It's like a 5-year blip.
Mm-hmm. I like. They show the scenes of that when the marching band comes back in the middle of the basketball game.
It's literally played for laughs.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
because how do you deal with that other than making it like into a joke?
Yeah, because it'd be way too sad.
Right.
There even hints about
dealing with the realities. Like when you think about it, like everyone. All of his like closest like friends and classmates, they all got blipped out.
Yeah.
They all died and then they all came back.
Yeah.
Like
but that's good for him, bad for like everybody else though.
Right.
Because like I mean he still gets his same group of friends, like especially Ned.
And his like teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
They're all
Oh yeah, no. His teacher didn't leave. His wife pretended that she blipped and ran off with some other guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. Pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Hang on, I have some notes here.
Okay. I don't have any notes for this movie because I saw this movie and wasn't planning on like offering it up.
Yeah.
As the movie we talked about.
Yeah.
And then you were like, what movie did you pick? Idiot. And I was like,
I didn't say idiot.
Yikes.
I just asked you. I'd already asked you before.
Yeah. You had already asked me before. And I was like thinking about it. I was thinking of offering other movies. And then I was like, oh, I also watched Spider-Man. Maybe Jared has also seen it.
Yeah.
But I saw that movie on opening night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Tuesday. And then I woke up at 4:15 to get on an airplane the next morning. So I saw it at 10 p.m., went to the 10 p.m. showing.
Jesus.
And then woke up at 4:15 to go on an airplane. And then had to stay up until 10 p.m., which was really
11?
No, really 12 because I was on the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
To drive an hour. Yeah, so it was a very.
So you're telling me a really fun, sleep-filled day.
Yes, a very relaxing day.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Just not very relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my idiot brother decided to not get plane tickets when everyone else got plane tickets. So his flight was several hours later, and then it got delayed for an hour.
Well.
So yes, shout out to
Jackson.
That one. Jackson.
Way to go.
Yeah. He's probably not going to listen to this one. He's been listening. Have you noticed that there's been like a single viewer like
I mean sort of
across several episodes?
I don't know if that's him or if that's just me downloading them to my iPad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so he's been listening, but he won't listen to this one cuz he hasn't seen the movie yet.
Okay.
Maybe he'll listen anyways. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean it's going to be up for forever.
That's true. Maybe at one point.
Yeah. Sometime in the near future. Yeah. So, speaking of how funny this movie is, it was much funnier than Endgame, and I feel like that was a good reset.
Yeah.
That Endgame was very heavy, sort of light on the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like a correction of that or a return to form.
Well, sort of like a palate cleanser, I think.
Yeah.
You have like this very kind of downer, sad movie in Endgame, and then you're like, well, we don't want that to be the tone for all of these going forward, so we'll just do the opposite, make it a comedy, and then an action comedy, and then
and also like
have fun with the next movie, guys.
Yeah, sort of a buddy comedy. Or it appears to be for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Mysterio as a villain. Like I knew that because I sort of stupidly did the research before.
Oh,
like when it came out that he
okay, like as soon as he showed up,
yeah.
I like immediately Googled bubble-headed Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
It's like, like Spider-Man character, because it's like unclear if he's a villain or not.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing I did when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, and then like the
And then I was like,
IMDb
oh, his name is-
description is like he's a master of disguise or
In
manipulation
deception,
or
right,
whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so he's gonna be a villain.
Oh
Alright.
yeah, for sure.
To do it.
So then it's like, okay, great,
Yeah,
cool.
but I liked that. Yeah, because also like that gets played for some funny moments too. Like especially like after he gets what's the name of the AI? It's not Vicky, but
Edith.
yeah, Edith. Yeah,
Even in
death, I'm
even
still,
dead, I'm still the hero, or
yeah,
I'm the
I thi-
hero.
yeah.
Even dead, I'm the hero, or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
a great acronym.
Yep.
Um,
Tony Stark.
and also
just-
a fun, the origin story was that he had Mysterio had his VR stuff
Yeah.
rebranded as Barf.
Yep.
Like that's why he
it's actually
is
AR.
evil. Yeah, okay.
It's augmented reality, not
Sorry.
virtual reality. Those are just very distinct,
Whatever.
different things.
I don't know
We're not-
technology.
We're not total hack frauds here.
I mean, mostly though.
We're like 99%.
Yeah.
But we can save ourselves from
Yep.
that last percentage.
Reddit, don't at me.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, Mysterio is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that he's a former Stark,
former Stark employee, which we
Yeah.
mentioned.
which again is another wrapping up of Tony's sort of whole thing.
right.
But felt earned, I guess. Like that, like so there's some villains who are sort of built by previous movies, and some villains that kind of just show up out of nowhere. Like,
Yep.
I feel like Zemo was an attempt to be built out of other movies, but
Mhm.
is just some schmuck who kind of shows up and rattles the cages.
Yeah, that's why I liked
um,
him so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue.
But this felt like an actual continuation of sort of the universe that's been built that was like kind of offered in Iron Man 1 actually, that like it was going to be about the 10 rings people, and then we never got back to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like
Didn't they die?
one of them did.
Yeah.
But not the actual 10 rings. Because
Okay.
again, that's been hinted at, like the 10 rings are still out there someplace.
Okay.
We don't know what they are because they're not
Sure.
like, because in the comics they're like a big villain.
Sure.
But in the movies, they went on to bigger, badder stuff.
They moved past them.
Yeah. But
Because they're just like a terrorist organization, right?
yeah, basically.
Okay.
But they have a vendetta against Tony Stark
Yeah.
because
well,
he escaped.
Yeah.
But what was I saying?
Talking about Mysterio.
Yeah, Mysterio. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is great.
Yep.
Has an all-time great beard.
Yeah.
But I also
Right.
the chemistry between him and Peter
Right. Yeah.
actually
It
worked,
was-
which is what made it so much more brutal that he was the bad guy.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I almost wish I hadn't looked it up.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't
I
really.
wonder what that twist would have
Right.
felt
Yeah.
like.
Exactly. Does that twist feel more satisfying when you don't know? Like, I read a tweet from this guy who mentioned the movie or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, my kids who are like younger, like 7 or something, they didn't know about Mysterio because a lot of people who are into comic books know who the character is.
Yeah,
Or
it's a
if you're like
classic,
me and
Spider-Man villain.
The first thing you do when you see a new Marvel trailer is like Google all the characters.
Who dat?
Well, I want to. I like because the Marvel wiki is really cool because it has like the power like scales,
Oh yeah,
and so like I look at that to see how powerful, smart, quick, or whatever. So I'm like always looking at that,
yeah,
and then so yeah, I immediately know he's a villain.
yeah.
But these 8-year-olds that this dude on Twitter that I follow is like, yeah, my kids had no idea, and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like it would have been cool, but I also feel like I might have seen it coming anyways. Like, it wasn't super well disguised. It wasn't not disguised, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like...
again, I think it's too tough for me to like disassociate myself from what I already knew.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, because like the entire movie I'm viewing through the lens of, hey, Mysterio is gonna like turn. He's
Yeah.
not a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going by the feeling that, like, I've been watching... I feel like... I was thinking about this the other day. I don't remember what I was watching. But I was watching some sort of murder mystery or something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the killer. just because
Sure.
like I feel like I've picked up on that pattern and I like know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So much because I watched so much of that stuff.
Yep.
And I just think that I might have picked up on that in this movie too, because it wasn't
Possibly, yeah. I mean, they didn't.
but the reveal, but the other thing is the reveal was so good. Like him in that bar and everybody starts disappearing and then it turns into that big party was great. Like,
yeah, that was
silly.
Yeah.
And also just like what a big dramatic turn for that guy. He really is a showman.
Yeah.
And also kind of deranged. Like unstable. Because who does that?
Yeah.
Like
He's
somebody
definitely
really messed
out
up.
of control.
Yeah. But like his whole shouting out of like every department and stuff.
Well, yeah,
and
they need
what
to
they
like
did.
explain.
Yeah,
They need to
that was
explain
great.
the illusion to the audience. And so it's
right.
just like, how do we do this?
Yeah.
Expo dump. Let's go.
Yeah, but also like set it as a party and
Right.
he's having an acceptance speech.
Sure. Everyone there. Logically in the film, everyone there knows what their role was, and so like him shouting it to everyone
I suppose
is like logically that's weird.
But it's a movie, and
But
we
it's
got to
a
get the
movie.
cutscenes in somehow.
Right, you have to explain to the audience like how the illusion worked.
Yeah,
And
so maybe they hadn't all met each other. That's my explanation of why he did that.
Okay.
They hadn't all met each other IRL.
Okay.
They'd only G-chatted.
Okay.
each
Yeah.
other.
They had a Slack channel, and
Yeah.
they're like, all right. It's like, oh, you're okay. Cool.
Yeah, you're the one who did the drones.
Right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I did the costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, a lot of fun opportunity for some more comedy.
Yes.
And Jake Gyllenhaal getting to be real big and real goofy.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal's a lot of fun in this movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie is a lot of fun, I would say.
Yeah, it's yeah, and I feel like that's why I enjoyed it so much in the theater. Because also I've been looking for more fun stuff. On the podcast we've been watching a lot of downers, and also I've been watching a lot of downers all on my lonesome. Yeah, and this was a fun action comedy.
Yep.
Kind of lighthearted summer blockbustery type deal.
Summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also tied into this thing that I really like. Like that again, Marvel at the MCU is just a big TV show. It's just every
movie is an episode, yeah.
Yeah. And a huge episode.
Very
like that
very
was the other
long
thing is
episode.
that like it actually felt movie sized. That there's some movies that like the latest Star Trek
Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond felt like just one long episode, and it didn't build anything more than just an episode's worth of stuff. It just took longer,
Right.
and there were like more special effects, but it wasn't like built to be a movie. Like I feel like that's something that's kind of lacking is stuff that is built to be a movie. Like they might have a story, but there are still ways to heighten a story to make it a movie level story as opposed to a TV level story.
I think that
Because
was
a TV level story only has so many turns that you can have.
right.
But a movie can have more and can have bigger and can have more unexpected. And I think if you don't do that stuff, then I don't appreciate a movie as much.
I think that was a deliberate choice in Beyond, though.
Yeah.
Because like the first two had been like huge movies.
Yeah.
With like planet destruction and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like I think that was a very deliberate choice to like try to ground it back in like traditional Star Trek.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a Trekkie person at all.
Yeah.
But that just like is what general feeling I got.
Yeah, that's definitely what they tried, but I think it didn't work.
Okay.
And I feel like the difference is that this is definitely a smaller movie than Endgame.
Yep.
But it still works because it is still big enough that it's like that there's some sort of sweet spot in there that's not fully sort of a tiny singular story.
Right. So you need to help me out with remembering this. Mysterio's plan is to cause a bunch of destruction and then save the world from the destruction that he causes and be like, hey guys, I'm the new Iron Man type character.
Yeah.
Trying to fill that void that we mentioned.
Yeah. Initially to get Edith.
Right.
And is
initially to get Edith, but then, he's like, I need to create an Avengers level.
Yeah, so he can get the trust of Nick Fury, so he becomes the next leader of the Avengers.
Right.
Because apparently all the Avengers have like dipped out of on Earth. Like nobody's around.
Yeah, that's another
They
thing. It's like
we'll be back at 6 p.m.
Spider-Man
sign.
is like, why can't we call in like Captain Marvel or like Thor, and then there's an off-world like.
Yeah.
And then when he mentions Captain Marvel, he's like, just don't mention her.
Yeah.
Don't say her name in front of me or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say her name. Something weird. I don't know. But, like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's more than that. Like, Bucky and New Cap are still around somewhere. Yeah. What do they do? What are they up to?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's like, yeah, they don't really have an explanation.
Yeah.
So they just kind of move on.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like,
but also, like,
in comic books, the hero goes and solves the problem on his own a lot.
Yeah. And also, that's like maybe one of the worst sins committed by comic books is making stuff too big.
Right.
That it's like, why aren't the Avengers showing up?
Right.
Like, I don't think Daredevil can take down Kingpin in the entirety of New York. Like, there are other heroes that live in New York.
Yeah.
You gotta explain why nobody else is, like, showing up like, hey, sorry, my building just exploded. It's me, Doctor Strange.
Right. Especially when you get into like actual comics, because like not only are there the Avengers team, there's also the X-Men and the Fantastic Four who are like their own separate teams.
Right.
And it's like, you guys could help too. You know, we don't have to.
And most of these people live in New York or around New York.
Right.
And it's always New York getting love.
It's not New York, always in New York.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
something you have to like. You're just gonna have to accept this and move on.
And the movies have done a better job of that. Like,
well, because they've had a smaller roster. But as they've like expanded that roster, it's like, where the hell is Doctor Strange? Like he can.
Well, they did mention that he was unreachable or uncontactable.
He's like busy protecting the realm.
Yeah, he's in some other
magic.
verse of the multiverse.
Yeah, sure. And like in Doctor Strange 2, we might be like, oh, it takes place around the same time as Far From Home, and he's off in some alternate reality or something.
But
like
mostly it's the movie saying, don't think too much about this.
Basically, the movie is saying, no one's going to show up to help Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So,
and also we're in Europe, and it's not like they have Avengers. Am I right?
They do have the Shadow Monkey, or what was the...
Oh, yeah, the made-up name for Spider-Man?
Yeah, the made-up name for Spider-Man. What was it called?
I think the Night Monkey.
Yeah, Night Monkey. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah. Anyways, what were we saying before I distracted us with that rant about how they didn't have an explanation?
Can't remember.
Me neither. So, where would you put this movie in the order of the rest of the Spider-Man movies? Because now they've made 7 Spider-Man films in the past 2 decades or whatever. Where would you put this one?
Barely 2 decades, if you like.
Barely 2 decades. Right. I mean, it's,
I think the first one came out in 2002.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's see. I'd put Homecoming first.
Okay.
Then I'd go The Amazing Spider-Man. Then I'd go Spider-Man 1.
Wait, you'd put The Amazing Spider-Man second.
I really like that movie.
You're out of control. Okay, continue.
This, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man could just go die in a fucking fire.
Okay. Where's Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, top of the list.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Beats everybody.
I was very concerned for a second that you.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking only live actions.
Right. No. I'm including Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. What about you?
Into the Spider-Verse, Homecoming, Spider-Man 2. Those are all Homecoming and Spider-Man 2 are almost interchangeable, I think, for me. But anyways, and then I'd go this one. I haven't seen Spider-Man 3 or 1 in a very long time, but I remember liking Spider-Man 1 when it came out.
Yeah.
So then I would do that one, and then 3, and then the Andrew Garfield ones can both burn.
Okay.
They're very bad, in my opinion.
Okay.
Although, again, I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
The first one I haven't seen in a very long time.
The first one is not bad.
Maybe it's less bad than I originally thought. I think I might have seen it after I saw the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, that was a horrible movie.
I remember we saw that movie together when it came out, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
And I think we
this
walked
is
out of
so
the theater
bad.
and like, this is a pile of garbage.
Yeah, and that was like, but
Okay, so you want to know my reasoning? Everybody loves Spider-Man 2. You want to know my reasoning why I don't put it so high? Because everybody loves Spider-Man 2. There was some article from some schmuck at the New York Times that was like it wasn't even that many years ago. It was like maybe 3 years ago. That said, Spider-Man 2 is the greatest superhero movie of all time.
I don't think.
And I was like,
true.
that's no.
Okay, so it's just like sort of everyone's zigging left, so I'm gonna zag right, sort of thing. Okay,
and it's like I rewatched that movie after reading that article. I'm like, they do this so much better in other movies. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I also, that's the main thing. And I just remember watching Spider-Man 1, which, I mean, would have been before Iron Man, and just really loving that live action. Like, it felt like the first live action movie superhero adaptation that I actually really enjoyed, and it actually kind of got me into comics. Like, I think there was like a free comic book day sometime after that, and I got a Spider-Man comic, and I'm like, this is so cool.
Wow, they really got that. They hit a home run with that one. That was the whole
the
point.
Little baby Jared,
That's the whole point of the film.
Yeah,
is to sell the comic books.
Yeah, so that that had that had a that has a specific place in
your heart. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but then also, like, the thing is that each of these until Homecoming, none of them had gotten everything right. Like, I don't like Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Specifically, Spider-Man, I think he's bad because Spider-Man feels very quippy.
Sure.
And Tobey Maguire doesn't seem smart enough to be quippy.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Tobey Maguire.
Fair.
I know you're a listener.
Yeah, definitely.
But, like, him in the suit wasn't very interesting. But then I did really like that they used what's-his-face as the villain.
Doc Ock.
No, the Goblin first.
Green Goblin?
And then Doc Ock,
Sure.
Two of the classic ones that I remember from watching animated Spider-Mans. Like, that was my only exposure was animated TV versions.
Sure.
And those are, like, the two big villains, basically.
Yeah.
And then Amazing Spider-Man had the crocodile guy, the alligator.
Yeah, the lizard dude.
Yeah. Who was, like, not a great villain.
Whose plan is to turn everyone else into lizard people.
Yeah, because he felt bad. I don't want to be the only lizard in New York, man.
Okay. We'll shoot a blue laser in the sky.
But then I feel like Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man, but maybe a worse Peter Parker.
I think he was a terrible Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I was like...
But also that movie was just weird.
Peter Parker, to me, is supposed to be kind of awkward.
Yeah. He was too cool. Just, like, inherently too cool.
Yeah. And, like, Tom Holland is almost there, too, where it's like, I don't believe him being this uncomfortable around, like, MJ.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
In this movie, especially where they're, like, he's trying to, like, you know, spark this romance with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're Tom Holland, you're too attractive for this.
Yeah.
Especially now that you're Spider-Man and you have, like, super strength and all this stuff, like, you should feel more confident. Be more confident, Spider-Man, God damn it.
Yeah. But I feel like instead of feeling like he actually was too confident and was playing it down, I feel like that it felt earnest and honest that he wasn't
Tom Holland is a good actor, and so it still works.
Yeah. But then he is confident in some situations, though, is the other thing.
Yeah.
Is that, I feel like that's what the other Spider-Man kind of lost, is that he became too bumbling in too many things. Like, especially Tobey Maguire was a bad Spider-Man, too. And I feel like it works better if he's a good Spider-Man, bad Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Spider-Man works best. I think, in my opinion.
Because, you know, being Spider-Man seems to be, like, this inherent part of his character.
Yeah.
And so
that a part of him
everyone in the world sort of has to, like, kind of navigate being a person.
Yeah.
But he is inherently Spider-Man, so he can do all the Spider-Man things, no problem.
Right.
It's like interacting with people. He's got too much of the spurg.
Yeah.
Or we could say he's a little bit on the spectrum.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, have you never heard that before?
Yeah, but in this context, on the podcast, why would you do that to me?
People know what they're getting into here.
Do they? I feel like we just crossed some line.
It's fine. I don't mean to offend anyone. Everyone relax.
Okay. Anyways, now that we're banned from iTunes, hello dark web.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that I feel like a part of him being bit by the spider was unlocking that little bit of himself that is Spider-Man.
Which one are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
I'm just talking Spider-Man in general.
Okay, in general, sure.
That when he gets bit by this spider, it doesn't it doesn't change any of him being a person, high school student, whatever.
It doesn't change Peter Parker. It just adds Spider-Man to him.
Yeah, but he also if anybody else was bit by that spider, I feel like they wouldn't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like that there's a little bit of destiny in there. Like there was a comic that I was reading talking about that the Hulk is actually sort of a metaphysical kind of protector of Earth that will occupy people subjected to specific stuff.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But that Bruce Banner was actually kind of chosen by the Hulk personality slash whatever.
Entity?
Kind of like Ghost Rider. You know how Ghost Rider works? Is that yeah. So yeah, something similar to that. That it's like that it's some sort of protector of the universe. That it's not. I mean, it's not fully that, but I feel like that's a part of it. That yeah, I don't know. I really like Spider-Man as a character, and I feel like this has been doing a really good job of. Again, it was a good choice to reset him as a child, high schooler, and they've done that bit really well.
Yeah, I
like because they are like kind of John Hughesy,
a little bit,
teen.
I mean, especially the first
movies.
one. Especially the first one.
Yeah.
I mean,
this one is
literally they literally show Ferris Bueller's Day Off in the film.
Yeah.
As they're doing a Ferris Bueller-esque run scene.
Excuse me, Ferris Buellerian.
Okay,
is the correct turn of phrase there.
Oh boy. Okay,
so you can say Spurgers, but I can't say Ferris Buellerian.
No, I said Spurgy. Anyways.
Okay.
Actually, I don't remember how I used it. But anyways.
We'll roll that tape back.
Roll it back. You'll just edit it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm considering it. I mean, I can't now that we've talked about it. Let's see. Hang on. I got some more notes. Kevin, vamp.
Okay. Yeah, so Spider-Man.
Stop vamping.
Okay.
I really like those special effects of the AR. Why can't I think of what they call them? They're not force fields, but they're not the elementals, but like the whole when he pretends to be Nick Fury, then he gets him trapped in that like the visions that he's seeing.
Yep. I don't know what he's calling it. Yeah.
Maybe they're force fields or something like that, or projections or whatever.
Yep.
But anyways, that whole sequence felt, and they even mentioned the filmmaker said that it was inspired by Into the Spider-Verse, like very trippy visuals and stuff. And again, felt very Doctor Strangey, like you said, which is like, I actually really like Doctor Strange. I rewatched it recently. I liked it a lot more. I like the score a lot more than some of the other ones because it's kind of distinct and very Baroque. With the what's that instrument? It's not a piano, but it's like a piano. Harpsichord. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a harpsichord playing in Doctor Strange, and it's like because he's a guy, a trippy sort of sorcerer dude.
Yeah.
And then the whole like Spider-Man kind of being, what am I saying? I also like the music in this movie. My point was that it's they were both composed by Michael Giacchino.
Okay. Or sure.
That's not how you say his name.
Whatever.
Sorry, Michael. But yeah, that in addition to the special effects, just like the stylistic elements of this movie, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it worked again. Yeah, that's why it worked as a theater movie.
Yeah,
that like
it's a bit of a spectacle.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It looks a bit better on the theater in the theater than it does on your laptop. I concur.
And it was like built for that too. Like there are
definitely.
so few movies that like that's the maybe why I'm such a fan of the Marvel movies is that they are all built to be theater spectacle movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually like know how to do it well. So
Right.
that's fun. Let's see. I really like the editing. I don't remember why I wrote that, but I feel like the editing was really sharp because it's very fast paced.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
for
liked
sure.
that. I feel like there were
Things
maybe
just can't keep happening, which is nice.
yeah.
It doesn't let me get too bored. You know,
Yeah.
I have the bit of the ADHD or whatever ADD.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But you kind of like
Oh boy.
it keeps moving along really nicely.
Yeah.
Like
and
and different sorts of things are happening too.
Yeah, there's a sort of flow that it's not. They're not trying to pad for time. They are trying to make again an enjoyable theater going movie.
Yep.
Like we're gonna have some slow bits, but then we're gonna like pepper in some jokes here.
Right, and they're gonna
we're
let the
gonna have
movie
some
like
impending
breathe.
doom.
You know, you can't
Yeah.
go like balls to walls the whole time.
Yeah.
You gotta take your foot off the gas.
Yeah,
and
which is why
let-
the kind of perfect example of that is when the kids are stuck in the Tower of London
Mhm.
and Spider-Man is doing the fighting. Like we get a cut between those two, and one's
Mhm.
really high stakes and the other is low stakes. They're
Well,
just
it's
sharing
still-
secrets with each other. I mean, yeah, they're both
Yeah.
gonna die potentially,
Right,
but
right,
one is just all the kids sharing stuff, and then Happy saying that.
right. I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt.
Yeah. The kids are like,
Yeah.
"What? Who even are you, dude?" Yeah, all that stuff was great.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
Yeah. I also wrote action was cool and new, and that's just like special effects as well.
Yeah.
It worked. That I feel like they've maybe not finally nailed, but they've done a good job this time round doing the Spider-Man as him leaping and swinging and stuff.
Yep.
Like that final when he's swinging through the city to go pick up MJ.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun and new, and like I feel like that's something that filmmakers really enjoy is Spider-Man swinging through New York.
Yeah.
But this felt like a different sort of version of that, and it was interesting and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing I want to mention, my last topic of discussion,
Yeah.
I suppose, is they mention kind of offhandedly that Spider-Man has the Spidey sense, which they dub in this movie the Peter Tingle,
Yeah, that was great.
which is it's goofy.
Yeah.
But they mention that like it's not working,
Uh-huh.
and that's my least favorite like superhero trope. It's like your powers just ain't working now
Yeah.
for like whatever reason.
Puberty.
Puberty perhaps, or like he's just too distracted or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he has to get it back. But like
Yeah,
it was
they don't fully nail that.
they like mention it, and it almost seems like they were like, we should
How do
put
we
in a line there because
Yeah.
he gets beaten up in the first scenario when Mysterio kind of tricks him,
Yeah.
you know, and like we go through that trippy like
Uh-huh.
sequence.
Yeah.
How do we stop him from? How do we explain that? How do we do that? How do we make sure that Spider-Man overcomes it this time? Okay, what if we put in a couple lines about how he's not the spider sense isn't really working?
Yeah.
So because if the spider sense was working, he would just see right through the illusion, right? Or he would be able to feel through the illusion,
I guess.
and which is what happens in the end.
Yeah.
Is the spider sense like kicks in
Yeah.
for
I feel like maybe it was that coupled with they didn't think of a way to either visually or in the film language demonstrate the Spidey sense. Like that was one fun thing about Into the Spider-Verse is like the
Right.
Spidey sense was literally the comic book version of
right of like
know,
those
he gets,
lines
like-
coming out of
yeah.
their head,
Yeah.
which is fun.
But they didn't really do that, and like even in Infinity War, it's like the hairs raise.
The
on
hairs
his
raise
arm.
up, and he's like, "Uh-oh."
But they don't do any of that really. He just like kind of has it again.
Right. They don't really. I don't think they really know what they're doing with that
Yeah.
per se. Maybe they do. I don't know. But like,
Yeah. It could have been better.
It felt shoehorned and forced and
Yeah.
like kind of bad.
Yeah.
Personally.
Okay.
But that's the last thing I wanted to say.
Okay.
It's the last thing I had.
Let's see. Yeah, I like that. Again, the MCU is good at building their stories on top of each other.
Mhm.
Like the end of this movie leads into whatever comes next for the Spider-Man.
Yep. Well, they have to. It's a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, but they like do a good job of that. Like again, that why Mysterio is a good villain is why the end of this movie also works, because it tells a full story in this movie, and it also hints at where it's gonna go. Like Endgame hinted at what might come next in the MCU, but also sometimes the MCU like hints at stuff and then just throws that away if something better comes up or like somebody wants to tell some other story.
Right.
Like they know how to say, just in a line of dialogue, like in Age of Ultron, like they talk about that they're on that cold persons case, Cap and Bucky. Bucky's like, yeah, I still haven't found that cold persons case, and it's like, well, yeah, so we're checking in on what was set up at the end of the Winter Soldier, but like we're not fully there yet.
Sure,
but that's going to be coming, possibly. Yeah, the MCU does a good job of that. All right, final thing. Can't really get into it. I really liked MJ in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like she
for
felt
sure.
like a real character, but also
she's definitely like the most compelling part of the movie. Like I think the actress's portrayal is very good.
Yeah.
I wish there's more scenes with her because it like the way she like kind of like ribs everyone is just so awesome all the time.
Yeah, very dry,
very
and
like,
sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was great. That like I feel like so often MJ is just like the pretty girl who,
right. And that's like the portrayal of even like Gwen Stacy. Yeah, she's just sort of there. Yeah, she doesn't really have a character.
She's the girl that is the object of Peter's affections, as opposed to like a girl who Peter really likes.
Yeah.
That she was actually a distinct person, and I really wish that there was like I kind of want to see the movie that was just Peter on this trip trying to talk to her, and that like rom-com situation of a movie,
right? John
Hughes movie that would be, but like treat the women better than John Hughes.
Yes, please do. It's 2019, for God's sakes.
Dear Hollywood, please treat the women better than John Hughes did.
Yeah.
And I hope that she not just sticks around, but is a bigger part of the movies moving forward.
I mean, I think she definitely should be.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that she isn't going to be, but
because now in the next one we'll have like them trying to date and him dealing with Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah,
and this one it was him trying to get closer to her, and now it's gonna be them trying to date, and then him also dealing with
she's
whatever.
I mean, she's like the Pepper Potts to his Iron Man, but maybe they'll again treat her better than Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll stick around and not found some quote unquote new age website where you can sell yourself jade eggs to stick up your. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Final thoughts? You want to rate this bad boy,
Kieran? 7. It's a very solid movie.
Okay.
Those flaws that I have, when I was like thinking about it, where it's just like there's just too much Tony Stark.
Yeah.
For Tony Stark not to even show up, because he's dead. Yeah. It just feels
weird to me.
He's in
quite a few murals.
He is in a lot of murals.
I like that. I like that every city they visit, there was a Tony Stark mural.
An Iron Man mural, not a Tony Stark.
Okay, that's true.
But
some of them were Tony Stark. Murals.
Yeah. So yes, it's a very fun movie.
Yeah.
I think it kind of breaks down when I personally think about like I want it to be more Spider-Man focused,
Yeah. Yeah. With expectations, it doesn't.
He still feels overshadowed by Tony Stark, which is like sort of the theme of the film.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like get out from under that shadow. I don't know. Doesn't quite work for me.
Okay. All right. For me it is a 9. I had it a 9.5 because again I really enjoyed this movie.
Sure, it's very very fun. Yeah.
But yeah, thinking about it a little bit more, I think it's only gonna drop until it settles at like maybe around an 8 eventually. But right now it's a 9, especially as a theater movie.
When did you see it?
I think the day after you mentioned it, so Wednesday.
Okay.
Or Thursday. I think Wednesday.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to the Riverview and I saw it with like 10 other people.
The Riverview. The Riverview.
I mean, not the
playing
Riverview.
it
Sorry,
St. Anthony, Maine.
St. Anthony, Maine.
Yeah, cool.
I get those two.
That's where I saw it
confused.
too.
Yeah,
What
the
a great
theater's
theater.
great.
Wonderful
AKA very sticky.
Yeah.
I sat in a row, and the place where my feet went was like the slipperiest surface I have ever been to, and I was like, "What is going on here?" I feel like movie theaters are supposed to be sticky, and I'm like, I can't even put my feet down; they're gonna slide away from me.
They're like, okay, it's too sticky.
Yeah,
Get out
let's
the
throw
oil.
a bunch of wax down.
No,
here.
they threw a bunch of the popcorn butter on it. I'm sure.
Okay, yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing though. Like I walked into this aisle and I was like slipping a little bit. But then, now I don't want to move though because I don't want to be that guy who sat down in a row by himself
Right.
and then moves to the row behind him.
Right.
That's just weird.
That is weird. Although I'm sure the 9 other people would not have noticed.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. So that's hang on. I almost put it in the wrong thing. Never mind. I'm just talking to myself.
Okay. Great.
Kevin, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Okay. This has been How About Pod. Thank you for listening.
No, this has been How About.
How About the podcast.
Yeah.
In which we talk about movies.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
You can
happening.
follow us on the Instagrams and the
take over,
Twitters
Jared.
at How About Pod.
There we go. See, that's why I get confused.
And you can email us at the email address howaboutpod@gmail.com.
Has anyone ever emailed us?
No.
Okay.
Leave us a review.
Please email us.
in the Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Rate us 5 stars in the Apple Podcast. Leave a review of whatever. We will read it. We will say your name if that makes you happy to have your name said to about 10 people, maybe.
Is there 10 people? That'd be impressive. Anyways, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Yeah. See you later.